I recently unboxed the brand new xTool Omni O1 UV laser. That was really hard to say, but I recently unboxed it with you, and in that video I told you that I was going to do a subsequent video showing you side-by-side comparisons of how the xTool Omni UV printer prints next to my EufyMake UV printer. Now I have a desk full of things that we're gonna go over today, but let's just talk a little bit about both of these printers. Now, I have had the EufyMake UV printer for about a year and a half now. We've done a lot of stuff together. We have crafted and made a lot of things. And I was so excited when xTool had announced that they also were releasing their own UV printer, because I have a lot of xTool lasers. You can see here two here in the background. And I love the xTool business, model, machines, and even their software. So when they announced that they were going to be releasing their UV printer, I was like, yes, sign me up for that. However, before they ever announced, xTool ever announced that they were releasing their UV printer, EufyMake UV printer was the first of its kind, really. Now, there were UV printers that were available to the market before Eufy ever decided to make a UV printer. However, UV printers, or at least the ones that I was looking into, were $15,000 plus. I mean, some of the ones that I was looking at were like $25,000, and they were huge. Like, they were not these small things that we can fit on desks. They were these huge things that you would have to fill up a garage with. That being said, would like to little asterisk, because someone always comments, yes, you could have went on to like Alibaba or AliExpress and gotten one direct from a manufacturer from China, thousands of dollars cheaper. The reason why I never did that was because I was afraid of lack of support, not getting a good product, and having things break. And it's just one of those things that I just was not interested in. So I really only wanted to run to trusted brands, like CMYK is one of them. I don't think I said that right. But anyway, going back to, they were huge, really expensive, not something that I thought I could probably make money with in my Etsy shop. So I just decided, you know what, maybe that's not for me. Until a year and a half ago, when Eufy contacted me and said that they're releasing their very first personal UV printer for the pedestrian crafter like myself and you, and they wanted to know if I would review it, and I said heck yes, because it's the first of their kind. Before the Eufy ever released their personal UV printer, there was nothing like it on the market. They claimed that it was going to be one for a pedestrian crafter, cheaper and more accessible to the pedestrian crafter, little to no maintenance, and you would get pretty much your world of crafting would open up. All of those claims, most of those claims, are pretty accurate. Now, the maintenance and things like that, I've gone into videos with the Eufy and all the maintenance, and I got my opinions on that. It's not virtually maintenance free. There is some maintenance that you do have to do with it, but the daily maintenance that I have heard that traditional UV printers do, you don't necessarily have to do daily maintenance, but the claim of zero to none or little to none is not true. Now, I have only had the xTool O1 Omni UV printer for a couple weeks now. It's been like, I think it's been right around 2 weeks. I've done no daily maintenance, but it also has the same type of cleaning cycles and things like that. Really, this video is just to show you what the printing looks like between the two, okay? Because I'm really excited to show you that. Couple little things though that I would like to note between the two machines. You don't see it here because I'm running out of space on my back counter, but this right here is the xTool Omni O1 UV printer. That used to be where the EufyMake UV printer sat. Now it is behind you, sitting on another desk, still plugged in and ready to go. It's just not here, okay? The desk that I have behind you would not fit the Omni one. That's because this thing is a lot bigger. It is bigger than the EufyMake UV printer. The setup process for this, you have to watch the unboxing video, because I'm telling you right now, this unboxing video for this is no joke. It is not like the EufyMake UV printer. Couple things also to note. The small flatbed for the Omni O1, xTool Omni O1 UV laser, why do you have to have the O1 in there? I'm not sure. But anyway, their UV printer, small flatbed, is larger than the EufyMake UV printer. Just a little bit larger, but you will see why that actually kind of matters here in a second, okay? The other thing to note, the large flatbed is about the same size. It looks a little bit smaller because there's less plastics. They've kind of made it, there's just less of it, but it's the same. The mat size is just the same. All the other capabilities for both of these machines is essentially the same. You're gonna have more inks at the very top. It'll explain what that matters to you, why that matters to you here on my desk with the side-by-side comparisons. Outside of that, I also have timestamps and also consumption things for all of the prints. So you're gonna be able to know for sure which one is gonna be faster, which one's gonna consume more ink, yada, 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 okay? Also, one thing to know, I did recently have to almost replace my printer head on the EufyMake UV printer, but instead I figured out how to get it to not have to replace the printer head. So maybe some of the prints here is due to the fact that my printer is used. The printer head may need to be replaced. I mean, it was working just fine when I got it to, you know, be fixed. So maybe give it some grace. I don't even know. That's up to you to decide. Also, this thing's brand new. My EufyMake UV printer is a few months old. So you just got to take things for what it is, okay? Brand new, obviously, when things are crispy and brand new, just like a newborn baby, they smell great, they look great, they look beautiful, and then after a while, you know, they start pooping and things like that, right? Kind of like everything. Brand new car, looks great, you eating it, and then it never smells like a new car again. So brand new as opposed to something that has been used a ton. So maybe you want to give it some grace. I don't know. Up to you to decide. I'm just here to give you side-by-side comparisons so you know where best to spend your money or where you want to spend your money, okay? So let's look at my desk and see what we got here today. So what I've done here today is I've created a lot of the same type of projects that we have already created with the EufyMake UV printer. But this time what I've done is I went and reprinted. Like you can see, I have 2 wind spinners that was done, one with the Eufy, one with the xTool. On the backs of all of this, I do have timestamps and also ink consumption things, just so you can best know what the true difference is between both of them, okay? So let's start off with the wind spinner because I really think the wind spinner is really cool. Now the wind spinner, just like in a previous video, I created this double-sided. So there is a print on each side. Look at the difference between the two. Now, before I tell you which printer printed what, one of these was printed with the Eufy, one of these were printed with the xTool. And I sure hope that you can tell the difference between the two because I think that this one right here, you can see the graining of the print. And right here, it's kind of blurry. Also, this has like a little bit more of an orange tone as opposed to this is like a yellow. Now I have gone ahead and added in what was supposed to be printed. So this is the actual PNG file that I uploaded into both the EufyMake Studio software and also the xTool Studio software, okay? So you can see side by side between the two prints right here, you're gonna notice that this one right here looks most like what is on the computer screen. Now here we go. This one right here was printed with the EufyMake UV printer. This took a total of 15 minutes and 45 seconds. And also it consumed 1.72 milliliters of ink. And it's per side. So this took roughly 30 minutes to print both sides, okay? Now this one right here was done with the xTool Omni UV printer. This took a total of 14 minutes and 53 seconds to print each side. So it took roughly 29 minutes to print. And this took a total of 1.19 milliliters per side. So roughly 2 milliliters for the entire thing. So this one right here, the xTool one, not only printed faster, but also consumed less ink. Now, both of these prints are not bad. I would say that if you had the EufyMake UV printer and you were to gift this to somebody, no one would ever know that this wasn't like the original picture. But if you wanted to do a true apples to apples comparison between the two prints, but then also what you see on the computer screen, you're gonna tell that the xTool is obviously far better than the EufyMake UV printer. So we have printed before on Legos, And I wanted to reprint the same picture on both just so I can show you the difference. It's the same exact picture. This is what it looks like printed on both pieces of Legos, two Legos. One's with the xTool, one's with the Eufy. Now, just to show you what it looks like on the computer, this is what it looks like on the computer screen, okay? This right here are the finished products. Now, one is printed on the xTool, one's printed on the Eufy. You have to let me know, which one do you think? Which one do you think is the Eufy? Which one do you think is the xTool one? Now, this one right here is printed with the xTool. This took a total of 3 minutes and just 3 minutes is what I have written down. And it took a total of 0.0545 milliliters of ink. So not even close to a 0.1 of a milliliter. I only did color for this. So my settings for this was only color. I also only did color with this. So apples to apples, I did the same exact setting. So we have color here, color here. This one was the xTool. This one here is my little chicken scratch for you, okay? This one right here was printed with the EufyMake UV printer. It took a total of 2 minutes and 40 seconds with 0.06 milliliters. So pretty much the same ink usage, pretty close to the same consumption. However, the xTool, the Eufy was actually quicker, 2 minutes and 40 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes. But the difference here is I feel like the xTool one, while it did print slower, same amount of ink, this one right here also looks to be pretty accurate to what you see on the computer screen, all right? You can see that the red is really highlighted and it's kind of dark and moody, just like what the actual picture is. This one right here seems to be a little bit lighter, okay? But same, I mean, both of these are not bad. Now let's go into a coaster, a Slate coaster. I wanted to show you the difference because my xTool UV printer has fluorescent inks, as opposed to the Eufy does not have any fluorescent inks. So I wanted to show something that was fluorescent. And I chose to do it on like a dark background thing just so it really does pop. So one of these is printed with the xTool, one of these are printed with the Eufy. You will notice I did try for everything here, I tried to do it as close to an apples to apples comparison. You will notice that one of these is smaller than the other. And I'm sure that just gave you the biggest, like, which one printed what, because I did say earlier that the EufyMake UV printer small flatbed is smaller than the xTool. So the Eufy, this one's the Eufy, the image had to be printed smaller, because had I wanted to print it a true apples to apples, I would have had to insert the large flatbed for this. And I didn't want to switch over the large flatbed because it takes so long to do snapshots. And when it takes so long to do snapshots, I try to do things that don't irritate me or annoy me. Trying to put in that large flatbed sometimes does annoy me. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna print it a little bit smaller. But this is a good difference between the sizing. Now, not that big of a difference, right? The size difference is not a huge difference. So the time, which is actually quite surprising here. This one right here was done with the xTool. This was done for 7 minutes. It took 7 minutes to print one coaster and it was 0.17 milliliters. So there you go. There's my little chicken scratch. This one right here took almost 11 minutes, 10 minutes and 56 seconds. It was 0.28 milliliters. So more ink, more time. Not only did it take more time to print, but also the snapshot with the xTool is a lot quicker than the Eufy. So the print time took longer and the snapshot took longer. This was shorter, larger. I mean, come on now. Now, the one on the left, this one right here, was printed with a fluorescent ink. And between the two, I think you're gonna notice that the one that the xTool printed is brighter. Like the pink is brighter than over here, and like the blue is brighter. That is because this was printed with the fluorescent ink. This does not have any fluorescent ink. So Eufy has no fluorescent, xTool does have fluorescent, and you can really see the difference on this dark coaster, yeah? All right, let's go over into golf balls because we have printed on golf balls. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason, these golf ball prints, when we made these together, I found the clip art over at Creative Fabrica. And so, you know, I was trying to do a true apples to apples comparison for you, and I was unable to do a true apples to apples comparison because I couldn't find the clip art. So here you're going to notice on this clip art that there is going to be color in the words. Okay, you're not going to see color in these ones because the clip art that I have for this one is not the same. Let me pull that up just so I can show you. So this is what it looks like on the computer. It has white lettering. I couldn't find the one that had the color lettering. Okay, so you're not going to see the color lettering. Just look at the golf cart image. Okay, so between the two, here is the difference. This one is larger. I have found that the xTool can bend the curve a little bit better than the Eufy. So the larger you go on a curved surface on the Eufy will start to get a little like hazy. And so your golf ball images only can be yay big, but this one right here was printed at like a 1 inch tall. And like, this looks really good. I mean, I wish you could see the lettering because the lettering would show you. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but the lettering would show you that it's not blurry. If you could see it, it's really hard to see, but let's just look at the quality of these two prints right here. Now, I did not reprint the golf balls because I'm limited in the golf balls that I have. I only had 3 more to do, but these ones right here took 3 minutes. I have 3 golf balls. They took 3 minutes and 0.45 milliliters. You'll have to go back and see how long this took to print when I did that golf ball video. But the quality of prints between the two, I mean, are amazing. And this actually is a pretty good example because most of these are done. Remember what I said, I technically maybe should replace the print head. I don't know. I got it they told me it was broken. I got it fixed. So I never replaced it. This one right here was printed months and months and months ago. All right, now let's go into the 2 tumblers that I've printed. So I have an apples to apples on the tumblers. I have to tell you, I will do a subsequent video on how to use the xTool UV printer tumbler attachment. It's really cool. So one of these was printed with the Eufy, one of these was printed on the xTool. I'm gonna show you to you this way because I don't want you to see what is written on the back, okay? So it's gonna be upside down for you, but here is what the glasses look like. I printed these on CMYK, white, and then CMYK. So on the insides of the glasses, you can see that there is color, and on the outside of the glass, you can also see that it's color. I think that both of them look really good. Now, before we talk about the difference or which one did what, let's go to this one. This one right here, you can see that there's some overlapping that happened here. So whatever machine decided to do this, they did not read the measurements correctly. Then you will also see that up here at the very top lip, that there is some spreading, right? There's just not some really good crispy prints. What I should have done was only taken the print and printed it to here and not the full lip. That like dip in this dip in the cup, okay? If there's too big of a height difference here, when you do that, you get things like this. Okay, the next one has some similar issues, all right? This one right here, we're gonna go to the dip in the rim. You can see that it's the same cup side by side. There's a dip in the rim. I dragged the image all the way up and that you will see that it gets kind of fuzzy in places. Also, very interesting to note that we got to here and you see how I don't have white ink right there? But if you look closely, there is 2 things of color. So where'd the white go? We have a little bit of like just yellow here, which is supposed to be all, like if you compare it next to this hat, see the difference between, I showed it to you. Okay, see the difference between these two? This one right here isn't like a solid red as opposed to this is more pink, okay? So which one was the Eufy? Which one was the xTool? Okay, this one right here was the EufyMake UV printer. This took a total of 1 hour and 22 minutes and took 0.54 milliliters. So here you go, 1 hour and 22 minutes, 0.54 milliliters. This one right here was the xTool, and this took 1 hour and 8 minutes, so less ink, and took a total, or I'm sorry, less time, and took a total of 0.4274 milliliters. So not only was this a little bit faster, but also took less ink. Both of these are not perfect projects though. Going over to this, I think that this is going to, my husband, when he came in here, and he was looking at all these side-by-sides, I showed him pretty much the exact same way that I was showing it to you in the exact same order. We got to this and he was like, oh, hands down, this is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you like this because I think you're gonna be shocked. All right, these are phone cases, both of the same phone case. We're gonna do both the same print. Oop, let me show you what the first print looks like before I show you the second. I think you're gonna be gobsmacked. It's crazy. Okay, this was what the picture looked like. All right, it's a cute little fox that's crocheted. I'll blow it up. Like, ain't that so cute? Okay, this is what the first one looked like. Okay, let's roll this. Ooh, let me just take this and put this in my pocket, and I'll just show it to you like this. Okay, just so you can see the full scope of what this looks like. I did some texture. I did a textured print. All right, and we got it printed all the way up here. You can see it printed on the lip all the way around. Look at that. I'm sure you already know, and you're screaming at me that you know what machine printed this, but like, look at that, okay? Apples to apples comparison. This is the next one, and this is what the next one looks like. I also tried to print it with a texture, so let me just take this and put this up here. It was the same texture thickness as the other one, and I made sure that it looked like the same, like it was supposed to be the same type of texture as this one right here. I stretched it all the way up to here so it can print on the curves and the sides, and put these two together. One is obviously way better than the other. I'm sure you know which one is which. Which one's the Eufy, which one is the xTool. Okay, this one right here was the EufyMake UV printer. I'm sure you already could figure that out. This one took 23 minutes and 4.33 milliliters. Okay, 23 minutes. This one right here took 26 minutes. So 3 minutes longer for this one. It did, however, consume less ink, 4.17 milliliters. Just to show you my little chicken scratch on the back. Here you go, okay? Now, this one took 3 minutes longer. In my opinion, I would wait 3 minutes longer for this as opposed to this, right? If you wanted something quicker, this right here. Is this a bad print? I would say no. There is some weird pink things going on. Okay, so that's interesting here, but like, could this be a sellable product if you wanted to sell it on Etsy or at a craft fair? I would say yes. Like, I would challenge that and say you could, because no one would ever see the original picture of what we have, right? Is this better? Yes. Yes, it absolutely is better. It is clearer. There is more texture. It's brighter. There's no like weird pink ghosting that's down here. I mean, my gosh, this right here, hands down. All right, so last but not least is something that I have only printed one time with my EufyMake UV printer, and I don't want to ever do them again. Just let you know. Because they take so much time. Textured prints is not for me because they take so much time. It's like, I've said this before in other videos with the Eufy, when you do a textured print, just like something like this that takes 20 minutes to print, I am not someone that has a lot of patience. If I'm doing a textured print, which is what happened when I did these right here, I put them in both of my UV printers, and then I press print and I did something else. And then I came back. It is the last thing that I do. okay? Because they take so long to do them. You're building up the layers. It takes a long time to build up the layers, okay? So I did the same exact print with the EufyMake UV printer to the xTool Omni O1 UV printer, and it's the same exact print, but I'm going to tell you right now, you have seen things here that is, I would say, are pretty good comparables. They, you know, you're like, oh, is it really that big of a difference? Oh, that's what I hear. You're going to get shocked. You're going to get shocked. I don't even know if I should show you this because it's not even comparable, okay? This right here was printed, I'm just gonna tell you now. You don't need to guess. I'm sure we're over the guessing game. I'm sure you know. This one right here is printed with the xTool printer, all right? It has some texture. I printed this the same exact texture on both machines. This looks amazing. The time that it took for me to print this, you're gonna be shocked, okay? So this one right here was done with the xTool printer. And my friends, this is what the EufyMake UV printer did. Yeah. Again, not even a good true comparison because WTF, what happened here? Let's look at the color. Let's look at this like weird scraping look that it has. Not only that, but the canvas is bigger than the print. The print was supposed to come all the way up to here and it did not. Okay, if you look at the print for this one, this print actually kind of like went around the edges. So if I were to frame this, you would never know because even the edges have some feathering on it. Same exact print settings, the texture print, same exact like thickness of print, and like there is just a huge difference between the two. So the one thing that I can tell you with the xTool version printer that I have, it comes with a flexible ink. So my canvas still has some flexibility to it. Also, let me just take this off because I want to show you the back. Also, the back of this, you can see that there's very minimal rippling. Right here, you can see that you can see like the outline. However, it still is very like taut, straight, doesn't have a whole lot of rippling. You can see that it bends even like right here. There's still some give to it, okay? Let me put this back. Let me take this off. Now the reason why the xTool UV printer still has some flexibility in the canvas is because there is flexible white ink already installed into the printer. I told the printer that I was going to be printing on canvas, and so it switched over into a flexible white ink, giving me the ability to still pop this around. Now the EufyMake UV printer, you can buy flexible white ink. I do not have any flexible white ink here in my craft room. I have printed on canvas before. It's a whole process. When you switch over from rigid white to flexible white, there is a whole process that you have to go through. Catch that video if you're more interested in it. But I printed it with the rigid printer. Now, rigid ink. Now, I will say, someone's going to leave a comment, well, like this isn't a true side-by-side comparison. Maybe it's not, okay? Because I am using rigid white ink as opposed to flexible white ink. But this is kind of where, if you wanted to do the flexible white ink in the Eufy, you totally could. I didn't have any. Also, who likes to waste ink? That's one of the biggest issues that people were having with the Eufy, is that you would have to pop in and out the white ink cartridge, the rigid white and the flexible white. And when you do that, you waste ink, a substantial amount of ink. So I didn't have a choice. But anyway, this right here is the Eufy. This was printed on the white. Can you hear that crunch? That's because this is printed with rigid. If you turn this around, can you see that outline of that tree? Very different than the xTool. I'll show it to you again when we talk about the time, okay? So we'll just stick with the Eufy canvas. The Eufy canvas took a total of 2 hours and 57 minutes. 2 hours and 57 minutes for this. When you were done 2 hours and 57 minutes later and you got something like this, you'd be pissed off. Because I was doing this for research purposes, I was not that pissed off because, again, I knew I was committing to this and I was just going to be done with this. However, if I was doing this for a commission project, if someone paid me to do this and I spent 3 hours waiting for this, I'd be pissed off. But I'm not, because this was for research, okay? So 2 hours and 57 minutes for this. You're still you're going to be even more shocked when it comes to the xTool. Let's stick to this, okay? 2 hours and 57 minutes. This took a total of 50 milliliters. So about $25 in ink. $25 in ink, 50 milliliters. Each milliliter is about 50 cents. So that's $25 in ink for this. 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Here's the sticker for it. Okay. This one right here, I'm still laughing because I think you're going to be shocked at the time for this. So this one right here took a total of 4 hours and 55 minutes to get done. 4 hours and 55 minutes. Substantially less ink though, 23.66 milliliters. Everyone gasp at how long it took to make this. I will have to tell you that this is done and this is great. I'm going to go and find a frame for this and I'm going to hang this in my house somewhere because this is a work of art. The texture, the depth, this looks and feels like an actual oil painting and it's not. It's UV paint that's just layered. But yeah, 4 hours and 55 minutes, almost 5 hours. So we got 3 hours to 5 hours between the two. Huge difference. Let's go back. I want to show you the back of the things. You can see that this one right here is the xTool one. Okay. And there is, you can see that there is a little bit of like rippling in the canvas, but not too bad as opposed to this one where you can see the entire tree outline in here. Okay. The reason why there is scraping right here is because this canvas started to ripple up and the head, I don't know what that is. Okay. That was like the sticky part. I don't know where that came from, but anyways, this right here started to ripple up and the head of the printer didn't know that it rippled up. So it was scraping as it was printing, but yeah, anyway, so I'm not that pissed off about this being messed up because I was committing to a side-by-side, but like I would be pissed if I was supposed to be selling this and this is what I got as opposed to this. This looks so good. I am for sure going to get a frame for this. One thing I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video was another very unique difference between the two machines, and I don't really know how to best explain this, but I'm gonna try. So with the EufyMake UV printer, when you print white and then CMYK, what happens is the Eufy will print a layer of white ahead of the CMYK. So really you're just kind of printing like this, right? So like take this for instance, okay? As this is printing, it prints white just a little bit ahead of the CMYK. So it kind of prints on a simultaneous type of cycle. So when you go and press print, the head only moves from down to up and it only does it in one, okay? With the xTool, this might be different later because it's a brand new machine. So maybe they'll change the way that it prints. Although I don't think the Eufy ever printed like this. But anyways, it's just something to note because I was like, wow, that's a very big difference. I don't know why it needs to print like this. But anyways, so the Eufy prints kind of in a simultaneous. It does the white first. It does the white first and the CMYK is like a little bit behind it. But the print head goes from down here to up here and it only does one pass, okay? The xTool, the way that it prints is it prints from bottom to top, the white, so it goes only white, and then it comes back down and it does only color. So that is something interesting. It does it all in one. I don't know why it does it. Maybe they'll change it. I don't know if it makes things a little bit slower because you will know in some of these, the xTool did print slower than the Eufy. substantially slower than the Eufy, but still turned out amazing. So I would wait 5 hours again for that, but I'm not going to do it again. Anyway, you did notice that in these prints, the xTool did print a tad bit slower in some of these prints. I wonder if that's because they have to go from bottom to top again, doing the white and then going back and doing the color, as opposed to just simultaneously doing that. I wonder if that is the reason why things printed a little bit slower. I don't know. Don't quote me. That was just something that I noticed. I thought was interesting. Fun fact. All right, my friends. I am excited to share the xTool Omni 1. I'm sure at this point in time, you're like, oh, sold on the xTool, getting rid of my Eufy if I have it, or buying the xTool, glad I didn't buy the Eufy because that's where I'm going. I'm so excited to show you more about the rotary and the print then cut feature with the xTool. I have already played around with it, and the print then cut feature is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to show you that. Subsequent videos, you're gonna have to keep watching because I have been crafting around with the xTool UV printer. I have to say, I'm impressed. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you have any questions about either of these UV printers, please leave them in the comments of this video, because if you have questions, somebody else has questions. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing as a dumb question. So I want to be able to answer all of your questions for you, or if I don't have the answers for you, maybe someone in the community also has an answer for you. I love being able to just spread awareness on all the things crafting. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next one.